Today I'm just going to take you through my morning routine, and I never used to have a morning routine. In fact, if anything, I used to be very reactive going into the day, but over time I've evolved this habit and discipline, and now slowly it's just become the norm. So my morning routine starts the night before, and it starts with me setting up the kitchen for how I want it to be. I want to come down from bed first thing in the morning and just lay everything out. I find that if I lay everything out and everything ready, I'm putting myself in a position of strength versus a position of having to make decisions in the morning and all that sort of stuff. So 9 times out of 10 with this routine now, I'm very proactive heading into the day. I'm more productive than I used to be. And reality is you are going to be reactive certain times of the day. You're just going to have to be. But I find that if I look after myself first, tune in with myself, and just allow myself some peace and quiet first thing in the morning, I'm in a much better, stronger position to tackle the day. And if you're consistent with that process, then guess what? Over a period of time, you're going to have a more proactive week, month, year, and so on. So hopefully you can take something from this. Hopefully you can implement some of this into your routine. And if you do have any questions at all, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you guys in the comment section. So typically I'm awake at either 5 in the morning, 5:30, or sometimes 6 a.m. So first thing I do, obviously I like to do the method where you count down. This is from Mel Robbins. She counts down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that process of just doing that first thing in the morning, it works. All right, so I'm downstairs within a couple of minutes. So 5:05, I like to eat first thing and hydrate. Obviously, your body's been without fluid for 6, 7, 8 hours. So the first thing that I like to do every single morning without fail is ensure that I have lemon water, I have a coffee, and I have SIS Hydro tablets, which are basically electrolytes. So first thing, put the kettle on and get my eggs ready. I like to usually have 2 whole eggs and 4 egg whites, but at this time in the morning when I'm slowly waking up, them yolks, they're a bastard. They can sometimes fly in the bowl. So sometimes it ends up being 3 and 3, but 9 times out of 10 I'll have eggs, a combination of egg white and egg yolk. So frying pan's on, eggs are ready, and then I have a lemon with a full pint of water first thing. Sometimes I have hot water, but usually it's just a pint of cold water with lemon juice. So that's the first thing that I consume or drink. Then I make my coffee. I like to use the AeroPress. I am nowhere near clued up to where I need to be in terms of how to make a coffee with an AeroPress. If anybody wants to help me out with that, I'd appreciate it. But I just basically mix 3 to 4 teaspoons of coffee, ground coffee, into the AeroPress. Hot water goes in, pretty much stir it, and we are ready to go. And you know what? Consistently over a period of time, it's evolved into my flavour of coffee, what I like. So reality is, it works for me. So there we go. And you know what? If you actually take a look, it isn't that bad. That looks about right to me. So that gets done. Then after my pint of lemon water, I'll have a pint of SIS Hydro tabs. These, as I say, are just electrolytes. Electrolytes first thing. Then I'll have between 100, 120 or 150 grams of oats. Now that's dependent upon what I'm actually training for the day. If it's a longer ride or it's an endurance session, usually it's 150. If it's just a normal day, then 100. If it's in between that and it's a resistance session or a session that's between 60 and 75 minutes, I'll have 120. Now again, that is just habit and routine. That won't suit everyone. That is just what works for me. So I'll have oats first thing, cooked just with either almond milk or coconut milk, or actually sometimes hazelnut milk. Hazelnut milk for me is really nice because it's got that sort of chocolatey background flavour to it, which is really nice. Doesn't look nice, let's be honest, looks absolutely dreadful. But it's just a big mix that works for me. One thing I have as well, which I didn't mention, is white tea, full of antioxidants, really, really good for you. And then, with all of that combination, I will sit myself down and I literally get out a blank notepad. And this is just a notepad that I just like to do, just to dump my thoughts out, where I'm at that day, and just start to reflect on how it's been going this week, on some of the things that have been happening this month. I'm now currently recording this in November, so it's winding down for the year. It's a time in which where the weather's changing, the environment's changing, and even more so, it's even more important for me just to dial in on myself and just make sure that I'm serving myself first. And as I say, the one thing that I like to do with that is just to make sure that I journal that out. Sounds very cliche, sounds very, what's the right word for it? Yeah, cliche, I guess. But yeah, as I say, it's just one thing that has helped me over the past couple of years, especially getting older, getting wiser. So I like to do that. And then I'll spend between 15 minutes, half an hour, sometimes an hour, actually reading. And I like to make notes while I read and just take the points which are relevant to me for what I'm reading. What I've done in the past is I really struggle to absorb stuff when I read. I just do. I end up highlighting it, post-it noting it, writing different coloured pens, as you can see. And reality is, if I don't make those notes on things that are important to me, I'll just forget it. So one, I like to read a book and then I'll reread it, usually 6 months to a year later. And actually, once you do that, you actually read a completely different book because you just absorb it in a completely different way. So I'll spend time doing the journaling, doing the reading, and then I'll usually lock in my agenda based on my calendar for the day. One thing that I don't do is I'll make sure that my phone, when I turn it on, is on airplane mode. This just allows me to look at my calendar, because if I see notifications going off first thing, then the reality is I'll have to answer those questions. I'll have questions from clients, I'll have emails, I'll have potentially something going on. And if that distracts or disturbs this time when it's important for me to dial in for the day, I'll be too distracted and then I'll be too reactive and it will just mess up the rest of the day. That's just personal preference. So, as I say, I take my phone off airplane mode, usually about 7:30, 8 o'clock, when the day is beginning, and that is pretty much the morning routine and how it works and how it looks. The one diary that I am using is the High Performance Diary by Brendon Burchard, however you say his name. I find that the questions in there are really good detail. So that's the current diary that I'm using at the minute. So that's the morning routine. Thank you for watching. Any questions, then give me a shout.